Let's talk real stuff. I'm gonna say real shit and we can cut it out afterwards.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Pedal Talk. I'm Carolina.
I'm Monica.
I'm Alex.
And today we have a guest in studio. Okay, introducing Cat Dahlia. Woo! Sorry, I just yelled in the sound person's ear because I'm so excited.
Thanks for having me on this beautiful 4th of July.
So if you didn't know, today we're gonna be talking about this wonderful country that we're in today, on this soil right now as we speak. You see this green rug here?
It's actually grass.
It's in Los Angeles. America.
We are also going to talk about what it means to be an American that has roots in other countries.
Yes. I feel like we can talk a little bit about different identities and how we all melt in together here in the United States. What else are we doing?
And some music, because you just dropped us. By the time this airs, you would have a new song out,
I have
correct?
a new song out, right now.
Yes.
You're going to want to hear about it.
So I am Cuban American, and I was born in Miami, which is basically Little Cuba. So oddly, yes, I did grow up and I was born in America, but I feel like I grew up in a city that was so insanely diverse that when I left Miami and I actually went to real America, I moved to New York, and I was like, whoa, it was such a crazy culture shock for me because we didn't do a lot of traveling growing up, so I didn't really know what it was actually like. I thought America was Miami.
I wish.
You know what I mean? That's like influenced all of my music, honestly. That's why even my last album I did in full Spanglish. I didn't even, and this album I'm doing in full Spanish.
Applause. Yes, Espanol.
It's so interesting because when I first came into the industry like 11 years ago and I got signed to a major label, I wanted to do English like R&B. Coming into an Anglo major label, they were like, oh, you're Latina. I don't know if I've ever said this like publicly, but they wanted me to be the Latin Katy Perry.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted me to be like Catriana Perez. Okay. You know, it was. But then I ended up leaving the label like 5 years later. After that, I went super hard on songwriting. They called me in for the Christina Aguilera project. So I got called in for her Spanish album, Aguilera, that came out.
Yeah.
So-
And it won a Latin Grammy, no?
Yeah,
Something,
it won
yeah.
a Latin Grammy. Shout out to everybody that worked on that album with me.
I love that album.
amazing.
My favorite song is La Reina on that album.
Oh, La Reina's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's like my new karaoke song.
Yes, it is. I mean, her vocals on the whole album are insane. So I started focusing super hard on songwriting in Spanish and in English too, but like Miami was calling me heavy again. So during pandemic, I moved back to Miami. I started a collective called, I don't know if I can curse, but Poor Songwriter. You can beep that out if you want. Yeah, it wasn't the best name thinking about it now, but
PFS.
but it kind of worked. Yeah, PFS. And it was a collective of songwriters that I got together, and we wanted to focus on having conversations around like the struggles of being a songwriter and how nobody from top to bottom will pay you even. They won't feed you. They won't pay for your gas to get to the session. They won't pay you for the session. They won't pay you for the song. You won't see essentially any money for the song unless it becomes a huge, famous, massive hit. And then you'll see some money. But publishing is taking such a beating right now that if you don't own any of the master, which as a songwriter you absolutely do not, then you're really getting effed over.
Interesting.
I will say like a struggle too, like being someone that started songwriting heavily in Spanish, I had to start taking Spanish classes to really like brush up. And I still take them to continuously, because living in LA, I feel like I barely speak Spanish anymore. Like when I'm in Miami, I'm always talking to my family in Spanish, but when I'm gone for a few months, like I'm barely talking Spanish. I don't know if you guys feel, well, your family's here.
Yeah.
I don't really have family here like that.
I don't either.
No, but yeah, actually writing the Spanglish album, I got a lot of people being like, oh, don't do that. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, because I think for Latinos that weren't born here, that like came here a few years ago or whatever, are like, oh, it's gotta be full Spanish. And then to all my gringo friends, obviously they were like, it's too much Spanish. You know, it's like, I still did it because I'm like, well, this is true to me. So this is just what feels right to me. And I know that like people, exactly, it's such a unique experience being what I really truly feel in both worlds.
Yeah, and I feel like that's our American experience.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has their own American experience. This is the land of the dreams, right? Growing up for myself, I mean, my mom immigrated from Salvador. She crossed like, I don't know, 3 countries just to get here. And I'm like, I'm gonna live the dream. Whatever I want and I want to achieve, like, we just have to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
People before us,
We're all kids of immigrants living in the U.S. and since it's 4th of July holiday time, we wanted to kind of reflect on what does that mean and like what does it mean to be an American person that has deep ties to another country and another culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, like it's hard. You're either other and then American, like other American, like Salvadorian American, Mexican American, Cuban American, Dominican American, right? It's always the other before the American, and it's like, well, no, I grew up in this country, even though like Miami sounds like it feels like a different place as well.
Sounds wonderful.
Even for me in LA, it's like I'm Salvi. It's very Mexican centric, so I feel like I'm also like the most Mexican Salvadorian you probably will know. I listened to rancheras yesterday. We were singing to Vicente Fernandez, which is really hilarious. But I feel like we have this identity and then culture where it's like, oh, you can't be American because you're other. But it's like, no, my culture, America's
A melting pot.
a melting pot.
So they say.
Exactly.
People be
Those
forgetting.
people came to this country to like run away or leave all the troubles behind and get to start a new life.
Yeah.
And I feel like us being multicultural and having been born here as well, like I feel like some of that experience sometimes is taken away from us because you have to be, you're not Latino enough or you're not American enough. I say I speak very good Spanish, but I feel like sometimes I'll be like, Mom, what do I need to say, or how do you say this? No sabo, si sabo. Like sometimes I feel like no sabo kids get a hard criticism because like, oh, you're not Latino enough because you don't speak Spanish.
Totally.
So I'm like, that's the whole point of being Latin American, right? And I feel like that's why we have shows like this where we want to be able to just have conversations like this where it's like,
man.
let's talk real stuff. I'm gonna say real shit and we can cut it out afterwards. What is your American dream, right? Like, what do you feel like is your rate of success? Like, how do you know that you've reached that dream or are working to get there?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if it has anything to do with being American, but I guess my dream for myself is to just become more and more my authentic self. Shedding a lot of fears and speaking up for myself. I think that's like being a woman, being Latina, being American, being Hispanic. Be kind to others and find happiness in whatever way that means for you. For me, it means making music, being as creative as possible.
I think especially when you have parents that came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because they have their expectations of their own American dream that can then be pushed onto us. And either we have to like go along with what they want or reject it and figure out what we wanted for ourselves.
Yeah. America represented like the safe haven for Cubans. It's always gonna be this like soft spot for us, especially in Miami. And like we kind of, I feel like so many cultures grew that city to what it is now, where it's like the sexiest, hottest, like biggest, one of the biggest metropolis. Like Latinos did that, which is super cool. I'm proud of that. But I agree, I'm a little bit torn between the idea of America being this like safe haven for, and now a lot of Venezolanos, but then also growing up here, I don't feel proud of a lot of large, vast areas of this country. So I don't know. But there's a lot of things I love about it too. And I'm glad we have freedom. You know, it's just like sometimes you just go to different places, like, whoa, you don't realize how good you have it here. But then also being here, I think you're right. Like you want to hold this place. You want to be a part of the change and hold this place to a higher standard and make it the America that we would like it to be.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys if you know what the 5 prohibited acts on the flag are.
Oh no.
You can't burn it.
You can't burn
Can't
it.
burn it.
You're not supposed to alter it in any way. Like the image.
You can't obviously like vandalize it.
No part of the flag should ever be used as a costume or athletic uniform, unless it's like on the uniform of a military personnel, firemen, policemen, members of patriotic organizations. The flag represents a living country and is itself considered a living thing.
So why are these rules not enforced?
What's Old Navy gonna do?
Go out of business.
It should not be embroidered on such articles as cushions or handkerchiefs and the like, printed or otherwise impressed on paper napkins or boxes or anything that is designed for temporary use and discard.
We don't throw the flag
That's
away.
crazy.
The flag should never be used as wearing apparel, bedding, or drapery.
Also, like, say if you're wearing a bikini and you're like, oh my God, America, that's illegal.
But I feel
Okay.
like at the Dominican parade in New York every year, it's just people using the DR flag as a cape.
As a cape, I was gonna say, there's so many like fat middle-aged white man definitely
Yeah.
wearing the American flag.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh my God, this opportunity to just be like,
Jail,
hello,
jail,
hello.
jail.
We need to have people arrested here today at the 4th of July parade, okay?
It says the flag should never touch anything beneath it, such as the ground, the floor, water, or merchandise. When I was little, I did not like this girl, and I don't use the word hate often. I hated this girl. That to the point, I remember my teacher was like, you shouldn't put the flag down and say someone's name. Guess what I did?
You hexed her.
I hexed her. I mean, this girl's still living, so she's probably fine. But
She's like, why do I have nightmares about the American flag?
Wow, that is some brujeria right
Yeah.
there. That's like American brujeria.
would you be able to pass a citizenship test?
Probably not.
Let's see. What is the supreme law of the land?
What?
That it is free.
Yeah.
That feels right.
I'm gonna do the Beyonce answer. To be happy.
Oh, that's so good. I think you're both right. And I'm also going to throw in the Constitution.
It's the Constitution.
The supreme law of the land. Okay.
So one wrong.
We're getting closer and closer to getting kicked out.
Yes. Oh my God.
Imagine eject.
Back where you came.
Okay, what does the Constitution do?
It lays out structure of society in this
Yeah.
country. Rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a list of laws of how to live harmoniously with your fellow Americans.
It's that thing that presidents seem to be able to just break over and over again, even though they're supposed to not be able to do that.
So, the correct response sets up the government, defines the government, and protects basic rights of Americans.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
Basically.
We all passed that one.
That's
I
better,
feel
that's better.
Yeah.
like
I'm
we-
going to say we got that.
Yeah, we got that.
Name one branch or part of the government.
Judicial.
Legislative.
Presidential.
Presidential, that's all
Those
three.
are all correct.
That's teamwork.
Together we are the greatest
America.
American.
Yes.
How many people does it take to be an American? The
At least
answer
3.
is a Salvador, Dominican, and a Cuban.
How many U.S. senators are there?
There's one for each state, no? 50? Or are there 2 for each state? Wait, senators?
I think it's 50 also.
Final answer 50.
It's 100. It's 2%.
Oh, 2%. Okay, that's okay.
2%.
Well, we were all wrong, so
That's
We
fine,
were
whatever.
wrong. That's okay.
I got
okay.
the last one right.
That's fine.
that one was hard. Yeah.
This test is so hard.
I don't know how my mom and all of her sisters and her mom
Yeah.
passed this test.
I don't know how my grandmother did this because
Yeah.
that woman respectfully still doesn't speak English. Like, how did you do this, girl?
Good for her.
Okay, so what happened? Did we
like
fail?
it's like-
I
Did we
mean,
fail?
let's just say you guys would not be allowed in.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. I don't want to be here anyway.
So it takes 100 questions. They do 100 questions.
They
You
shuffle,
have to
shuffle.
pass. I don't know how much.
A lot of
but
them is just American history.
It is.
I
Yeah,
also
it
feel
wild
like,
to me.
Today we have Kat with us who's going to help.
I
give
got you guys.
answer
Don't
your
worry.
advice.
Trust. Full trust.
Richard Alfred Tomlin III of Denver, Colorado, age 25. I would like to understand how to identify as a Latino Chicano person. About 6 to 8 years ago, I did a DNA test and found out I have a significant amount of indigenous ancestry from Mexico specifically. And since then, I have been trying to connect to Mexican, Mexican American, and Latin American culture as a whole. I have loved the process and continue to educate myself as much as I can about my culture, but that's exactly the problem now. Since I wasn't born into these traditions, I feel odd identifying as a Chicano Latino male, partially from being alienated from not speaking Spanish, but also from a personal point of view where I just don't know how to properly identify with the community I now have a connection with. Any advice would be of great help to me. Thank you, and keep up the fantastic work with the Pedo-like brand.
Oh,
Richard Alfred
thank
Tomlin
you.
Thanks, Richard.
I think I've answered kind of this before on a different video where we talked about, okay, like the only thing you really can do is just talk to people from that community, be able to read, get yourself knowledgeable. There's a lot of great like media and movies and films and documentaries that you can kind of use to sort of guide you in a direction, but also I feel like immersing yourself in that culture is the best thing you probably could do.
Something that is easily doable is just looking up Mexican recipes and starting with food. I feel like that's such a good way to connect to your culture. No matter how far or close it is, you can always look up Mexican recipes and being like, let me figure out what my ancestors were eating and what they love to eat. I think food is like such a good way to connect to people. And then, yeah, get a lowrider, get some flannel, button it up, like get some tattoos.
It's all out there. You just gotta look for it. Great podcasts, great documentaries, great shows.
Dude, do a trip to Mexico City.
Yes.
Yeah.
This has been such a great episode. Thanks so much for joining us, Kat. All right, we're not on Hot Ones, but this is the opportunity to plug
anything.
here, and here.
We are in the same studio they use.
Yes.
We are?
Yes, this is. We're not bald in this set. We have a lot of beautiful hair.
No one's crying or throwing up or having tummy troubles here.
I could never do it. But what's up, guys? I'm Kat Dahlia. I have a new song out called Futuro Amor. Go check it out. Go listen, go watch the video, run it up, and keep watching. Stay tuned.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining us, Kat.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Oh, and happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
We're gonna blow the imaginary candle.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Eat a hot dog.
Eat a hot dog. There's only Americas. There's hot dogs and hamburgers.
Even though they're both German foods. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.